So it's the first day of summer vacation, and I told myself that I'm going to get up early and just really take advantage of this summer break. I'm going to take my girls out and then water the garden. So let's get going. I haven't told you guys, but our sweet Lavender got injured by accident by Harrison, and she has recovered well. She did lose one of her toes, but she has been very resilient and is doing great. She is still hopping around, she's still laying, she's still a big girl. But I just wanted to let you guys know that Lavender is doing fine and she's going to go out first. So you may be wondering, why is she carrying her chickens? That's a good question. Um, there really isn't an answer besides the fact that that's what we've always done. We've always had the chickens like work the garden or just eat the grass, and we just rotated them around. But it was just easier for us to just grab the chickens and then put them where they need to be, because chasing chickens isn't that fun, and we just never like trained them to like go to a destination because the destination always changes. Our girls stay in the coop at night and they go outside as long as we're home. If we're not home, they stay in the coop, but once we're home, they go outside. So they don't seem to mind it, right? So now that the girls are out, I'm going to go ahead and water the garden. The sun is about to go onto the perennial garden side, so I'm going to water that first because it hits that section first, and then it hits over here on this side. So I was going to give you a gardening tour, but my neighbor is cutting his grass, and so I'm going to let him do that. And I'm going to show you guys the garden later this evening, because I'm not going to show you in the blistering sun. So I'm back, and it's nice and cloudy, so I'm going to show you around the garden. And I even have my pot that I put the stuff that I harvest in, just in case I want to harvest along the way. So we're actually going to start with the flowers first. So these flowers were already here when we moved here. And it was a nice surprise last summer when we realized that we had strawberries growing. Now they're very small, but they're perfect size for oatmeal. And before you guys talk about all of the weeds I have here, I know it's all right. They're pollinators. So even though the majority of this are flowers, it's nice that there are strawberries in between. At least we still have the bleeding heart blooming. It's actually the same color as my shirt. So we still have some bleeding hearts right here, as well as some right here, but they're about almost done for the season. We have some greenery here. I'm not sure what they're called. And these tall, you can see the dead ones in the back, these tall flowers pop out of it. I'm not sure if this right here is a weed or a flower, but we're leaving it alone. Obviously the ones down there are flowers. These flowers here, I'm pretty sure are from weeds. And the yellow flowers down there are actually Indian paintbrushes. And then again, we have more of this big bushy stuff. I'm sure if you know what it's called, please tell me below, because I do not know what these are called. These are what I'm growing. To the left are zinnias, and to the right are marigolds. This is so beautiful. Like it's just, I don't know what it is, but tell me what it is. And we have some flowers here. Again, don't know what they are. They're not lavender, that I do know. And we have more strawberries going throughout. Actually, I think I see one. So we got some more strawberries. They're so tiny. We have some of those perennial flowers. Again, don't know what they're called, but they're there. Some weeds, more Indian paintbrushes down there. And I did transplant some lavender, as you can see right here. They're kind of growing in a weird way. It's supposed to go straight and somehow they got up, but it's okay. This lavender was from last year that I just now planted, and you can see there's some lavender here. So definitely let me know what some of those flowers are because I have no idea what those flowers are called. So we definitely have ferns here growing too, and we have my mother-in-law says we have a lilac bush, and we have some rose bushes and lilies and other things on the side of the house. Things that I do know are the things that are behind me. So behind me, as you see, this is a whole thick row of kale. I love kale. I literally think I say that every video, but I absolutely love kale, and this is I like pick at it every day, and it just keeps coming, keep coming. So I'm really happy about that. There is a big like layer of weeds right there, but I'll get to it one day. So to the right of the kale, there are tomatoes. See them all up here. The spacing is wrong. Before someone tells me, I already know the spacing is wrong, but we did not think that we would be as successful with our seedlings and the transplanting because last year we did we had so many tomato seedlings and then they all died. And so this year we learned from our mistakes, and too well to the point we have way too many tomatoes and tomatillos and basically everything. Usually, what we do is after we rotate the girls around the house, they do dust baths, and then we just end up transplanting tomatoes into the holes that the girls made a dust bath in. We have already done that with the pumpkins, which are kind of dying right now, but it's okay. These are tomatillos. They're either tomatillos or peppers. Harrison did all the transplanting into the garden. I did the kale and some of the peppers, but everything else he has done. So I don't really know where he put things at, but I'm pretty sure those are tomatillos, but they could be peppers. Right under this tree, which I don't even know what this tree is called either, they have these right here, some kind of crabapple maybe. But underneath this tree, probably not a good spot for this. I'm pretty sure basil needs sun, but we got to work with what we got. So over there is basil. These are peppers. So that must mean those are peppers. Either way, we have lots of things here. So we have basil here. We have basil. I'm assuming peppers, peppers, and going all the way back is cucumber. So we have a couple of hubs of like perennial. So this is one of them. Now last year this held like kale and basil and other things. This is oregano. This is thyme. This is sage. I think this is a weed. Oregano, thyme, and sage. So they're doing pretty well. We're still at the tree. Like I mentioned before, the basil is back here, and we have peppers. I'm now more convinced they're peppers. We have peppers here, um, maybe tomatillos, but these all look like peppers. These look like peppers. That might be a tomatillo. They look so similar to me. And as when we finally can meet the kale and the tomatoes that we just showed you earlier. And then you can probably see right here is a row of lettuce. And there's like this bare spot right there that used to be radishes, but we already harvested them. So the radishes are there, and because we harvested them, we put peppers that we had that were left over from the peppers on this side, which I'll show you. Then you can see up the fence we have sweet peas. Sweet peas were up the fence, and we thought we got pole green beans, but now my husband thinks that they're bush beans. So we're actually going to pull the fence out and go along here and down because we have cucumbers. So once we move this fence down, we're going to go here and then around, and then the cucumbers can go up. It's one of my goals this gardening season is to do vertical gardening. There is the tree. There's most of the garden, and then now we're here to the other side of the garden. So like I mentioned before, you said cucumbers, and I don't know if you can see this. We have more kale. So this is our second bed of kale all right here, and we're going to start getting more from that while that one gets a break. And this I know for a fact, all right here is peppers. Pepper, 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 pepper. It's all the way down. Peppers, peppers, peppers. As you can see here, right in the front, this greenery where the peppers are here in this brown area, and once you get to the greenery, the low part, there's two things you should see. One, weeds, and two, leeks. So we have our leeks sticking up here, and then it looks like we have maybe some tomatillos growing back there. Pumpkin. There's one pumpkin down here. So this side we have cucumbers here. And originally what we were going to do is we were going to wrap around and then go like this and go like that so that they can all grow vertically. But now that we think that those are bush beans, we're going to have to figure out how to have the fence end up this way. Yeah, so here are all either tomatillos or peppers. I think on this side it's tomatillos. Leeks in the back, kale ends, but I want you to take it to the other side. You can see the onions better, and if you follow me on Facebook, you know that those onions are actually store-bought onions that we let root, and we planted them, and some cilantro. So let's go over there. Here again are some pumpkins growing, and they're actually all around our front yard in those little dust baths that my chickens did. Okay, so now we're on the other side of the garden. If you look closely, you see cilantro, which I'm so happy because last year it did not happen. And you see more cilantro there. Of course, you see some weeds, but there's cilantro there. And right here is our onion, and they're about to flower. Look at that. It's really cool because something's happening. So there's the green beans right there. Here are our herbs. This is a big thing of mint, which is overcrowding, so we might pull some out. But check out this thyme. Look how beautiful this thyme is. And then we have sage, and look how huge this oregano is. Like, this is like so lovely. More sage, oregano, thyme, sage, oregano, thyme. It's a good like alteration going on here. And then we have, the mint, and underneath is some sage. And look at how huge this oregano leaf is. Like, it's wicked. Last year we just didn't do well with the herbs, and this year we are, and it's really, really exciting. We're using these totes to put in the flowers, but the marigolds are not doing so well in these totes, but for some reason the zinnias are. I had to put my hat on because these bugs were biting me. But here are carrots, and again, I know they're not evenly spaced, but they're here and they're doing well. We have a random kale, and we have some leeks and more carrots, and then back here we have asparagus, and here we have volunteer kale. Now in those barrels we also had some radishes, but we actually harvest them all, and by the time we harvest them all of these carrots like started coming up, so the timing was pretty good. So now we're going to go to probably the least attractive garden, but still, it's okay. It'll be beautiful one day. Just right now, it's a transitioning garden. The garden here are all perennials and weeds, but right now the goal is perennials. All right, from there, all probably here are all asparagus. There are different stages of asparagus. We have some that we planted last year, and we have some that we planted this year. So lastly is the greenhouse. Since we are in a room in our garden, the totes that we have remaining over, I'm transplanting these peppers into the totes. So right now, 2 peppers are in each tote, and I still have more to go. I did pot some lavender. It's right here next to my chicken lavender, but I still have the lavender here that need to be potted or planted in ground. And then this tomatillos over here, I don't know what we're going to do with them because we have no room. So that completes our garden tour. Thank you so much for watching, and I really encourage you all to start your own garden, grow your own food, live life sustainably, or in general, just plant a better future. Bye.